Live.
Live.
Monday Night Besties. We are back at it again. The one and only Amanda Savage, DC Hendrix here with BodySlam.net, hosting our Monday Night Raw post show as we do each and every Monday night. Nobody does it better. That's why you're here with us.
Hi,
But
besties.
we want to see all your comments. So before we even get started, go ahead and go in the comment section. Let us know what you thought about Raw tonight. Let us know your thoughts. We have a lot to talk about, a lot to get to tonight, and we got to look ahead. Elimination Chamber will be here before you know it. And of course, donate and support slamchats.com. Slamchats.com. Donate, support us, support bodyslam.net, and we can get rolling. But we got to start off, as always, ladies first, right? The lovely and the star of the show, everyone, the one that came up with the name, the star, Amanda Savage. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Doing good?
I want to make sure to acknowledge my background because we are in full We Want Cody mode. Yep. This is a screen grab from Roads to the Top. I did edit out the person who was really sitting here. You can't even tell. It's just my chair. Yeah, okay. Well, I did a pretty good job because now I'm sitting right here. We're just ready to go. We're ready to chat all things drama that's going on. Oh, besties. Hi. Oh, I get excited. Hi, Jeffrey's in the chat. Nice to see you.
What's up, Jeffrey?
That's an OG bestie right there. Since the beginning, day one-ish for Jeffrey. So that's what I'm excited about. We're keeping it going. We're still keeping the dream alive out here. But we need to behave in these streets.
So, yeah, what Amanda is referring to is we got pressing needs to start the show off with today. We just got to tell all you WWE fans, wrestling fans, just remind you to start off. Look, we all love pro wrestling. We all love the storylines. We all have our favorite wrestlers. We all want them to win. We all want them to do what we want them to do. But at the end of the day, it's a TV show. It's pro wrestling. It's not always going to go how we want. So let's relax. Let's chill. No more death threats. Like, it's getting crazy, folks. I love Cody Rhodes as well. I want Cody Rhodes to finish the story. But he does not have to do it on our time. He will do it when the time is right.
Yeah.
And if that time is this WrestleMania in Philadelphia, then that's his time. And we'll get to that in a moment. But let's all just chill, man. We got to relax. Like, look, I got a life outside of wrestling. So, like, it just
this
not.
This is for funsies. I don't want to be doing all this every day, all day.
Crazy.
We need to be able to open up the apps and see, like, the baby pictures. I want to see that Quill Gargano running around. I want to have nice times, you know?
We got to chill a little bit.
Doing all of this. You know what I feel? Okay, briefly. I think Ava has been doing, this isn't an NXT show, but I think Ava's been doing a really amazing job in NXT. Yeah. And it makes me so sad that she's getting wrapped up in all this. Crazy. Come on, man. That's, first of all, that's not even, like, has that even been addressed on screen? That's not technically her character's dad. I don't think they've actually said that. So why are you doing all that? But additionally, death threats, like, really, we're getting over the top at this point. Yeah. So everybody, I agree. We can relax. We can relax in these streets.
I'll take a deep breath.
Have fun. You're here with the besties. We're hanging out.
That's right. We chilling. It's Monday night, beginning of the week. We're hanging out. So none of that stuff in here. But you can send in your comments, of course. We can talk Monday Night Raw. We can talk early Elimination Chamber predictions, all of that stuff. But no negativity in here, right? It's Monday Night Besties. Yeah. Unless the negativity is necessary. But nothing along, no death threats, nothing crazy like that.
Yeah, no, behave.
None of that stuff. But there is a lot going on, especially with Monday Night Raw right now. So tonight, while I will say, I'm gonna be honest with the universe. Tonight was one of those nights where, like, sometimes, you know, with the 3-hour Raw show, sometimes I struggle with my focus. Mm-hmm. You know, so, like, sometimes I'll be watching and then kind of tune out a little bit. The kids running around. Things like that, you know, like, hey, you know, daddy, I need this. So, like, tonight was one of those nights I kind of struggled with the 3 hours. I still think Raw needs to go back to 2. But tonight was one of those nights. They got me really drawn in at the beginning, obviously, starting off with Seth Rollins in the ring, says like, let's get right into it, and brings out Cody. He said, we don't want to waste any time. The crowd's chanting for Cody anyway, so putting him in an awkward position. Like he didn't even really get a chance to talk. So he's like, all right, I guess let's do this. So, brings Cody out. And Cody, did he say more than 10 words in that promo?
I don't think so.
Like I tried to count. I tried to go back before we got on here. I had my counter up, right? I was like, I'm trying to count how many words he said, because I swear Cody didn't say 10 words in that promo before Drew McIntyre comes out and starts his whining. The new heel McIntyre we're getting, saying it's his match at WrestleMania with Seth Rollins, and whole brawl breaks loose, yada, yada, yada. But like Raw started off great. Like I love that stuff, right? It's continuing the story. But like, what did you think at the beginning with this whole, obviously Seth Rollins is expecting, like all of us, that Cody Rhodes is picking him for WrestleMania, since he told Roman that he's not, WrestleMania isn't his time to face him. So what did you think at the beginning of Raw?
It was interesting. I left the segment feeling like I was wondering if they were trying to suck me in to a 3-way match with Seth, Drew, and Cody. And I don't think that's like, I don't hate it. I think that's the key to all of these sort of, I like to say fan fiction, but I think that might be offensive. So I think it's actually like fantasy booking, right? So like what we're imagining kind of could be coming down the pike for WrestleMania. I do think there are plenty of interesting and intriguing combinations. There's lots of ways that this could go. But yeah, I kind of feel like kind of getting worked a little,
How you feeling about it? Everybody, everybody's not very happy with what's going on.
I don't know. I like
be honest. Like you're not, as long as you're not sending no death threats, you could be 100% honest.
It's hard because I enjoy the pieces, right? So like I really actually think that Drew being very dastardly is like very funny. I think he's doing a great job in that role, and he's still he's kind of, I suppose, also not throw where he's like sort of like he's the voice of the sort of nasty things that might say. That's what's funny about Drew is he's very sort of, the snark is real and it's fun. It's not necessarily super mean. But yeah, the open was great. It kind of, I can understand how some of that is, because this is the one I often will check the clock and then be surprised when it's an hour to go. And this was one of those nights where I went, oh, a whole hour is left. Like, okay, all right, like we have more to come. So yeah.
Yeah, so obviously, like, I had to sleep on it, right? Because after SmackDown, we all were not very. I love The Rock, grew up on him, obviously, and we all do eventually want Roman versus The Rock. What I think is going on is I think that they are just going to string us along. I think there's some kind of hidden agenda here. Like even Cody, he had a cryptic tweet earlier and just says, look, and told everybody to relax. Mm-hmm. He said, trust me. And it's like, I feel like they're playing the long game here. I think they're kind of doing an okey doke on us. And notice how Cody Rhodes has yet to officially say he's facing Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Notice he hasn't officially said that yet. Right. So all he's done is say that he's not facing Roman at WrestleMania, which, okay. Well, if you're not facing Seth, you're obviously not facing Ilya Dragunov. So, like, obviously, there's some kind of plan, I think, for the long term. I think we still get Cody Roman is what I think is going on. But I love what they're doing right now with the storyline with Cody Rhodes. And you guys can comment, of course, BodySlam.net, YouTube. We're broadcasting on Twitter, Facebook, well, X. Facebook, YouTube. Send those comments in, and of course, donate. Slamchats.com. Send those donations in and support BodySlam.net. And of course, there's a review each and every day, WWE Raw results and highlights on the website as well, BodySlam.net, and support our writers, Slamchats.com. But send your thoughts in, of course, all the comment section. We're streaming everywhere right now. And I want to know you guys' thoughts, because like I am still interested in the storyline, because you have all these guys that have different stories, right? That all need written. You got Drew McIntyre, you have Cody Rhodes, you got Seth Rollins with the injury. There's a lot of different stories and a lot of different angles to tell with the storyline. And I love that WWE is at least trying to include all of them in the storyline. We welcome the Amanda Savage, the star of the show. Everything good on your end?
I think so. Yeah. Did I disappear?
Yeah, we were having a little technical difficulties. It's all good. Technology, folks. Technology.
We're back. Back in action.
But I was just saying, I love where the story's going. I think there's a lot of different stories that need told, and I think WWE is trying their best to tell them all. And I was saying, I think it's interesting that Cody has yet to say that he's facing Seth at WrestleMania.
What?
I think your internet's still messing up.
Let's see here.
It's like skipping a little bit.
Is it?
Yeah.
Maybe can I take myself out? Yeah, I can take myself out. Let's do that. And then
it's better now. Yeah.
It is? Okay.
I mean, so what do you agree with me though? Like, do you think that like I just feel like we're still getting Cody Roman? Like, it's just weird to me that he hasn't officially said he's facing Seth.
Oh, I just don't know what comes next. I think that part of this was a bit of a gauge to see what would happen. Not that they didn't know or they weren't actually already targeting something, but if this turns into an announcement on Thursday of Rock and Roman is next year, and that Cody Roman is this year for non-title, I mean, like, I don't know what the titles have to do with anything when it comes to Rock and Roman. So that's where there's a little bit of a plot hole for me, but there's plenty of shows that have big gaping plot holes, right? Like there's things that you don't always get explained. There are things that aren't always clear. So I'm willing to wait and see. I'm willing to see where it goes. You know, that's kind of the fun of WrestleMania season, is that I like it when you don't necessarily know exactly what will happen.
Yep.
I mean, Jeffrey, this is what I would like to see as well.
Here we go, Jeff.
I think that is how we get this we wrap this up nicely. Kind of still got what we want. And then perhaps that leads to, if there still needs to be, or there should be a match in the future, that leads to a more layered story between Rock and Roman. Yeah. Roman feeling like, you cost me something potentially, or either way, if Cody loses again, then there's a whole nother year of speculation of like, did Rock screw him? And we have a whole year of like, Rock screwed Cody, which I think might make my brain explode. I'm not sure I can handle that, to be honest. So I shouldn't even put that dark timeline into the universe. But oof. No, please don't do that. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's so many things to come. I do think that one like tiny detail that kept cracking me, Pat McAfee is very afraid that the event is free. I think I wonder if there's a real chance for a fan revolt in that situation, because it's Vegas, it's Super Bowl weekend, it's a party atmosphere. You already are kind of just having, I think that the free event aspect, like where it doesn't have to be WWE fans, it's just anybody who wants to come see The Rock, I think actually is a very savvy move, because then you're not going to necessarily have diehard people really upset with the outcome. It's just people will be excited, like, oh my gosh, Triple H, oh my gosh, The Rock, But I think that whole Thursday event will be fascinating. Like that in and of itself is its own show.
So a big question that I was thinking about too, like at the beginning of Raw tonight, would I be satisfied if it was Seth Drew at WrestleMania? I don't know. I don't know if I would. Like let's say Cody is pulling an okie doke on us and he is facing Roman at WrestleMania and The Rock is a special guest referee, which I love. Good job, Jeffrey. And let's say that match is still going. Do we really want Drew Seth for WrestleMania? Like, are we satisfied with that? Like, I love Drew and I love what he's doing right now as a heel again, which I'm used to Drew as a heel anyway. But like, are we satisfied with that as being the alternative? The crowd seemed to love it tonight in St. Louis, but I don't know if I love that.
Oh, that's a hard one. There's so many roads to go down. And honestly, I had my heart set on Sheamus and Gunther. So now if we're going Gunther Jay, I think my mind went Sheamus, Gunther, and then maybe Jay and Seth, just because for no clear reason other than that's kind of an interesting story in and of itself. Like those two don't necessarily interact very often. But that just sort of flies in the face of there always being a heel and a face, right? So that's like they probably are gonna have two beloved people. Drew, I think it could work. You're not stealing CM Punk's main event though, Drew, because you're not in a main event. So there's like this other hollow piece. I like the character work that Drew's doing. I just don't know where it goes. Yeah. And I think that's the exciting part is that there's so many like routes that I don't know that his motivation ends up stacking up in the end. Like we always have Senior Money in the Bank too, lurking around.
That's one person that everyone seems to be forgetting. I think we're not the only ones. Like he's still holding on to that Money in the Bank contract that's going to run out here in the next 3 or 4 months or so. So, I mean, that makes things interesting as well. I look at these storylines and I'm just like, he's already beaten Drew twice. We've also seen him lose to Cody Rhodes 3 times.
Right. And so it's kind of like, I think we're in that position that sometimes, I think sometimes you find yourself in where there's this domino effect of injury, where then all of a sudden everything feels like everything got thrown up in the air and just where all the cards landing. And it doesn't seem entirely clear, but we do have, I mean, we got quite a bit of time, 2 months. What was the count now? Like 60 some odd days.
Yeah.
That's a hearty amount of time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
To get something that feels more substantive than what's going on now. But I'm one that doesn't love a series. Like if I've seen you have a match 3 times, I'm good. I don't necessarily have a strong desire to see that continuing. Yeah.
So not a big MLB or NBA playoffs gal?
No.
What's the 7 series?
I don't usually pretend. I can watch. I get excited about the very end of NBA finals typically. So I'm like a hop in at game 5 if there is one kind of a person.
If we get Seth Cody again, that's what we're aiming for, best of 7, because that's
that's where we're at this point.
I don't know, we'll see, but that started Raw tonight, and obviously, like we said, Cody got in a total of maybe 10 words in the promo, if that. Like I might be being generous. If somebody got it, go back and do the counter for me, because it was. If we're doing over under 10, I'm going under for sure. Like it was crazy, but we do got. I love that you mentioned Gunther because I did want to bring that up too. So tonight, Ludwig threw a 600-day celebration for Gunther as the Intercontinental Champion. And we're all anticipating someone to come out, right? And then right before the celebration, they're teasing Braun Breaker talking to Imperium backstage with Adam Pearce. And it's like, okay, we getting Braun Breaker, Gunther? Like they did that on purpose, though, because Braun Breaker was not the one to come out. Upset me again. I said this last week, didn't I? Wasn't I upset? I was upset that they Well, they might be signing him now, so we might get him. But I was really hoping Braun Breaker would come out. I really was. I was hoping Braun Breaker or Sheamus. That's what I was hoping for, and we got neither. I love Jay. I do love
Jay, but
come on.
Yeah.
What did you
Sheamus?
think?
What's Sheamus doing?
Exactly. He literally tweeted earlier. Did you see his tweet? He's like, great 600 days as champion, but I'm gonna end that.
Yeah.
Like,
so I was like, oh, okay, cool.
We get main event Jey Uso. I love Jay.
Yeah.
Right. But does this? I mean, what were your thoughts? Obviously, I'm sure you're like, where's Sheamus? Where's maybe Big E? Well, you're still hoping for that. But what do you think, Jey Uso and Gunther?
That one was interesting because it was a combination that I didn't necessarily anticipate wanting to see. But then when it was happening, I did think that they sort of brought out the best in each other because Gunther is so sassy. Like, he's so nasty. Like, almost like housewives nasty. Like, the things that he says are so mean. Like, he is that mean neighbor lady who just like is so mean. So in the combination of he and Jay was actually, I felt like they brought out a really great side of each other. And I also think that the crowd shouting yeet instead of like a Stone Cold style what is something that I guess has been happening. It's not like it's never happened before, but in the cadence of like every line he delivers was really fun. And I feel like that's going to be a thing now. And I'm not mad at it. It might mark this down. What day is today? Today is February 5th, 2024. Yep. And I said the words, I am not mad at it. It was fun. So we'll see how that plays out. I do think in a more serious context, when the crowd's just like screaming yeet in the middle of something, it might get a little. But for now, they were really, that was a powerful combination I hadn't necessarily anticipated. So I was disappointed. I had sort of geared myself up to see Sheamus. Oh yeah, also Jeffrey. Very funny. It was extremely funny.
Yeah, hearing Gunther try to say anything.
Yeah, that was a good one. Like, that was solid. I appreciate it.
Anything cool Gunther trying to say is like hilarious to me because like he is like completely anti anything.
Yeah. You're not going to hear slang from Gunther.
No.
Just, busting up. Yeah, it was good. So they're fun together. I think that'll be a really fun, compelling feud. This is a hard time.
Is it believable that I'm going to ask this to you and all the viewers. So, like, is it believable that Jay could be the one to end the reign?
What do the viewers think? What does the chat have to say?
Yeah,
Let me know. That's the question.
Is it so? While we all love Jay, and we want him to get that first singles title because he deserves it. He is, elevated himself to a whole new level. So, like, but ending a 600-day reign for Intercontinental Championship,
I think you have 60 days at this point to make his presence as a wrestler, right? He's very much a big personality. He's a big character. He's fun, all of those things. But the juxtaposition between that as a viable challenger to a Gunther who you've built up for 600 days as the ring general, as a sort of specialist, you have not full rehabbing to do on Jay. I don't think it's like that, but I think there is a layer of legitimacy that if they don't add, it ends up taking away from the story, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And let's see him beat Chad Gable. Sorry, Chad Gable. But like people, not necessarily someone who doesn't need a win, but I don't need to legitimize Jay as a opponent for Gunther. I don't need to see him beat The Miz. I need to see him beat Chad Gable.
Right.
I need to see him beat Julius Creed. Right. Like these folks that it's not going to kill their momentum in any way. To have a loss to Jay, but that you can show off that side because I undoubtedly it's there. I mean, he's incredibly athletic. We've seen Jay do exceptional things in the ring for over a decade. Like, it's not like we don't know it's there. And I think that hasn't been highlighted as of late to the kind of level that it would need to be to make that feel questionable. Otherwise, it's sort of like, can his cool personality can his cool personality be Gunther's rude personality? You know what I mean? And I don't think it doesn't have to be that shallow. I think there could be a whole other depth to it that really launches that. I'm always going to be behind main event Jey Uso. I love that. I love him singles too, but I don't think there's been a lot of like that meat there yet.
So my only thing was, the only reason I was that surprised for Jey coming out is because I know, like you said, I know 60 plus days is still a lot of time to create a story, I guess. I still thought we were all expecting Jimmy J at WrestleMania. So, like, that's why I was super confused. Because if we're getting, I mean, if that's what we were getting, we would be starting that, right? I mean, they faced off to start the Rumble. And then, I mean, maybe that's what we're getting to. Maybe he gets his title shot. Maybe he gets it at Elimination Chamber. Possibly. And then Jimmy makes him lose. Maybe. And then maybe that starts and leads us up to WrestleMania. But like, that's the only reason I was confused about this was that was the reason, is because I thought it was pretty much already set that we were getting Jimmy J at WrestleMania, which I think hits a lot harder, in my opinion.
That was a very exciting moment in the Rumble when they started that together. I think that was something that also is perhaps more explosive than you realize in theory. Like, it's theoretically, you're like, oh, it's cool. But then as they were actually in the ring together, like, oh, wow, yeah, I would like to see more than only a few minutes of this. Like, this definitely has the ability to carry its own story into WrestleMania. So there's a lot going on. It's hard to see too, because the way that the titles are so unified, then you start getting these like breakdowns between the brands. So I don't know where we go in the future with the brand split side of things. Mainly because like tonight there was that, which I thought was a super good fatal 4-way in the tag team division, but it was essentially the winner of that then gets to face, it's Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne from SmackDown. But because all of the tag team titles are together with Judgment Day, so it's just kind of like, I feel like we could have this, we could just spread the wealth so much more. I think there is on both shows full divisions of tag teams that deserve to have their own title. Agreed. Bold proclamation. I don't usually have strong opinions, but that's one of them.
WWE is doing a great job with the tag teams. Yeah. The one problem is, like you said, Judgment Day still holds 2 titles for 2 different shows. So like, look, either unify them or split them up.
Right.
Like,
or split them up.
We've been saying that for a year now. And it's like, honestly, that should have been done back when Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens won them. Like, either it should have been unified then, or they take the Raw belts, and like, that should have been the way. But like you said, DIY ended up winning that fatal. By the way, that had to be match of the night, in my opinion. I thought that was the best match. That was a banger. Like, and I love all the tag teams except DIY. I'm not a big DIY guy. I know there's a lot of people that love DIY. Not for me. I love Ciampa. I think I said that before. Love Ciampa. Yeah. And I love Gargano and NXT, but I don't know. I was going for the Creed brothers in that one.
Always.
I was going for the Creed brothers for sure. So maybe I was just too close into this match, but still great match nonetheless.
I was surprised it was them. I kind of was surprised.
I was too. And like I said, I was just so frustrated because whoever wins this isn't going to beat the Judgment Day. Like, that's my problem with it. It's like, if the belts were splitting up, then maybe. But you know, at the end of the day, it was a match to just showcase the tag teams once again. But I really do think it is beyond time to either split them up or unify them, because there's too many tag teams. Like, just think of how many tag teams weren't even in that match. You know, so
it could have been
exactly. So like, that was my frustration with it. But for me tonight, the biggest story that I take away was finally beginning the tournament for the Elimination Chamber.
Yes.
For the other women's championship that Rhea Ripley is holding. And we await her opponent for WrestleMania. and that started tonight. Becky Lynch, I think she beat Shayna Baszler tonight to start that tournament, and then Liv Morgan faces Zoe Stark next week for another spot. So Rhea Ripley, and they announced it. We said it here, folks. If you watch this show, we told you weeks ago.
We did.
That Rhea Ripley would face Nia Jax at Elimination Chamber. So we break news here too. So slamchats.com. Okay.
Yeah. Send it to Slam Chats. I want to see a Slam Chat.
That's right.
Just send it to Slam Chat.
We break news. We do it all here. So we finally got that as well. What do you think of the whole this all coming along? Because I'm very excited. I'm a big Rhea Ripley fan, and I'm excited that she's finally defending the belt again and back in feuds again. It seems like it's been so long, and she's been dealing with the whole Judgment Day mess. So I'm very excited about this. But what do you think of the elimination tournament starting tonight and Rhea and Nia Jax being announced?
I am confused about whether or not it will somehow involve maybe 2 chambers or something from SmackDown. Like, okay, I don't understand. Bianca is on all of the WrestleMania promotional materials, which she deserves it. She's on the video game. She's amazing and she's gorgeous. And I understand why she's there. That's not my question. I'm trying to figure out who else, because I was genuinely not paying attention enough to the fact that the women's elimination chamber was for a shot at potentially Rhea, potentially Nia. We'll see how elimination chamber goes. But
that's true. I'm just I'm just assuming that Rhea's going to WrestleMania. That's right. My bad. That's
right.
Me.
But so like, who else? So now we have Becky. Next week it's Zoe Stark and who's she facing?
Liv Morgan.
Liv Morgan. Okay. So presumably, let's not to be mean, but let's say Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch are in there. We have 3 more chambers. I'm not sure who else goes in there from Raw, or if they somehow make like their secret SmackDown entrance to be able to make a path forward for the gals on SmackDown, because there's kind of a backlog of stars everywhere, and I don't know where they go for Mania. So
I think you go Naomi.
Right.
Either Naomi, or I'd love to see Tiffany Stratton in there. Or Jade Cargill and Bianca. I think those are good 4 to pick from. And obviously there's one woman out in that because there's only 3 spots after, but I don't know. Just give me them all.
If we're going only Raw, though, then you're looking at like I wouldn't be surprised to see Natalya. I think.
Although I'd like some new people to get a shot.
Yeah, I mean, like, who is there's.
I would rather, honestly. I wouldn't mind. I mean, a returning. I don't know how long Raquel's out. I don't know if anybody knows that, but I'd love for her to be in the mix.
Yes.
I'd love for her to be in the mix. Honestly, give me Zoe. If it was just strictly Raw,
that's what I'm confused about, is that if we have Zoe theoretically eliminated and you have Shayna Baszler theoretically eliminated, like the pool that you're then left with are all very viable folks, but they're not people that I necessarily would immediately go, oh yeah, Indy Hartwell elimination chamber. Although, I just heard it as I said it. Indy Hartwell elimination chamber. That could be fun because she's Australian. I'm sorry if anyone can hear me, a child screaming.
Right.
I don't know what's going on. And then they're very empathetic of each other. So if one cries on the other, and then you turn into a thing. So, sorry. They were excited about Indy Hartwell in the elimination chamber as well. I guess you could also do. There's
what about Chelsea Green or Piper Niven? I mean, they're not going for the tag belts anymore. I'd love to see Chelsea Green.
Yeah,
I think she's earned a spot.
Absolutely, and I think that the way that she bumps around in the elimination chamber would be exceptional, because she's someone who sells every minute in a match to the degree that like nothing is better, in my opinion. It's very, very good work.
Not to look too far ahead, I think she is someone to look ahead to at Money in the Bank. I think she's going to be a name to watch come Money in the Bank, come July. So you heard it here. You heard it here first. I'm telling you.
You did. We're making news happen. We're manifesting it.
That's what we're here for. So I'm just excited though, because the women's division is cooking right now on Raw, and obviously, you know, they had the women's tag team championship match tonight. For some reason, I was really hoping that Kaden and Katana would win the belt back. I was so hoping. I was like, come on.
Yeah, me too. I don't know why. I was just like, yeah, get him. But no.
No, we fell short again.
Kabuki Warriors.
Kabuki Warriors get it done. And I'm excited to see how that plays out. But I was really hoping to bring those belts back to Raw because one of my favorite women's tag teams. I love Katana and Kaden. They work so well together. So I was hoping for that tonight. But another great match tonight, right? I thought that was another good match that cooked tonight too.
Yeah. And we cannot forget that Valhalla and Ivar took on Maxine Dupree and Akira Tozawa. And in this moment, I don't remember who won. Who won that match?
Ivar and Valhalla won. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah,
that's because Alpha Academy are such high contenders that you can believe it's possible that they could have won. And maybe they should have won is the argument. But
that is the argument because at this point, it's like, when's the last time they've won?
That's true.
Like the Alpha Academy, like I honestly can't tell you when they've won.
That's true.
Like I've lost. While what they're doing is funny,
it's like fun, but yeah, I guess what are we doing?
And it's like at some point we gotta get, somebody's got to get a dub at some point.
That's true. That's true.
So that's my only problem with that. But one thing I wasn't a fan of tonight too was, it ended up being a good match, but I was so confused by the main event. Like I couldn't have been the only one. Like we're like in the midst of Cody Rhodes, like in chaos here. He's coming off of SmackDown saying he's not picking Roman like we all expect. And then we start off Raw. He says 6 words. And then we get him and Shinsuke again. First of all, random, like nothing to do with anything right now. In a bull rope match. Bull rope match. I was like, my first reaction is like, really? This is what we get tonight? Like I was so upset, but then I ended up swallowing my words because that was a great match. I don't know if
it was a good match.
It was a great match. I don't know if anyone stayed up to watch it, but I swallowed my words.
That's true. It when they did it in Madison Square Garden, it was Shinsuke Nakamura and Cody Rhodes have already done this bull rope match, but it wasn't televised. I was very like, oh my God, I wish we could see that on TV. And then now that it was on TV, I do kind of understand how some of the magic of a bull rope match is a little bit it's not lost on TV, but I could see where it feels more dramatic in person. So you still saw a lot of good spots, but like the really, I imagine that live, that visual is much more crisp. Like you understand they're tied together with a rope. Whereas when you're watching on television, it doesn't feel quite the same. But it was also an interesting narrative moment for, I felt, commentary to continue to like tell this story of like, oh, look at Cody getting this cathartic win. He's getting all his negative feelings out right here. And then Thursday is going to be great, everybody. So we'll see that, it was kind of like this extra like infomercial for why The Rock was totally an okay choice. It was just like as a storytelling device, I think that it was an interesting way to go because you're still putting, and then he got missed it halfway through or maybe 2/3 of the way. So you still can have this like Cody overcoming adversity. It's kind of just like, I don't know. Sometimes like my family will ask me to make Mexican food because like, to me, like I will make Mexican food if I'm making it, right? Like everything that I've ever learned how to cook from every family member, I can do that. But then if they ask me to make Mexican food and then I'm like, okay, here's quesadilla night, guys. It's just like not the same. And I think I think they were giving us this opportunity to feel like we had Mexican food night, but it was a quesadilla. We're just kind of, but we got like a lot of pep talks about how good the quesadilla was.
We got Taco Bell instead.
Yeah, and I don't even think anyone's mama was making that quesadilla. That was like from the drive-thru. So I don't know. It was a great match. It was great to see it, and I had wanted to see it when they ran it at Madison Square Garden. So it was something I wanted to see. Yeah. I also just kind of felt like feel like they're tricking me a little bit. I feel a little manipulated by Monday Night Raw tonight, and I don't know if that's just me like way over emotionalizing it, but it just felt like a lot of succinct opportunities for really savvy attempts to correct the public narrative, which is maybe like a lot of corporate speak for like being, you know, just it's not being sneaky. It's just giving us kind of what we think it, you know, we got to see Cody finish his story, right? They told us this is the story that he's finishing first. That's why we're doing it. You know, like, oh man, I don't know. It's a little hollow.
Like, it's a mess, honestly. Like, we're all just gonna have to. Our only choice. See where it goes. That's our only choice. We have to see because this is all. It's all gonna make sense eventually, right? Remember how confused we were with the bloodline for so long? Yeah. I mean, it's been years, and I mean,
we're still a little
confused. Sense. We're still confused, but like there was a time where it was really confusing, and we were like, "Where is? Like, is this about to end? Or like, where is this going?" And then eventually. And then eventually,
you know, they had Sami Zayn come back into the picture too tonight. There was that interview segment, which I think adds an interesting layer as well, because I could definitely see, like, I could see him having a great spot. Like, he against Gunther would be funny. Yes. Because they have such unique styles. Yep. There's just so many places for them to go in every direction. So it is one of those we just have to let it play out situations.
And then right when you think Raw's ending, right? You're getting ready to get up and you think it's done. We're getting ready to get set up for our post show. Like, I think it's over. I'm getting the camera up, and all of a sudden Michael Cole's going nuts. And I'm like, what's going on? You know, like, I thought it's 11 o'clock. Like, I thought it was over. And then I go in there and Drew McIntyre standing over, and I'm like, here we go. All right, here we go. Here's something. Now, you know, it's I'm still confused. Don't get me wrong. I'm still confused. But like, at least the opening segment made sense now, because like the opening segment, like if nothing else happened tonight, I would have just been like, well, what's that? Is that John Travolta where he's walking and he's like, I just John Travolta the gif. He's like confused. Like, that's how I felt after the opening segment. Like, if nothing else happened tonight, that's how I felt. So love the ending. I think honestly that pieced Raw, the episode of Raw tonight altogether, because before that, I would have gave Raw tonight like a 5. Like, I was really upset, honestly. But the ending brought it up to at least, I'd say, around a 7.5. Like, I actually did love the ending, because for a minute they were confusing me, thinking that Drew was going back babyface in that promo. So we're getting full on heel Drew. But what'd you think of the ending with Drew attacking him?
I just think it gave that good bookend, like you mentioned, because it started with them and it did sort of almost abruptly end. I didn't know what was the point of that segment, but it kind of didn't have a whole lot of a point. But bringing it back around, yes. Also, he had a funny shirt, and it is actually available for sale. It appears. Which I just kind of like, actually.
I don't know about the crowd's reaction. Like, he unveiled the shirt and the crowd's like, like, do y'all not, like, y'all really that into the Cody Rhodes story that you don't know anything else that's happening? Like, sheesh. I thought it was hilarious. Like, Drew is not that guy. Like, Drew is not a comedian. So, like, the fact that he went that far, like, it's hilarious. Like, I felt the crowd was
been so funny.
It's like
his hater persona is so good. It's good. I enjoy it.
Shout out Drew McIntyre's shirt. Merch
go get one of those. Go pick up your Drew McIntyre t-shirt. Although then he attacked Cody at the end, so I don't know what I'm supposed to feel anymore about you, Drew McIntyre.
We're all, like I said earlier. I think we're still getting Cody Roman. My personal opinion. You can disagree. You can, anyone in the comments, anybody that's watching, look, it's my opinion, okay? I don't work for WWE.
No.
By any means.
I'm a mom. I don't have scoops.
Yeah.
I just watch a lot. I
father of 3. So Absolutely not. And two are teenagers. Absolutely not. I don't have time. Okay.
Right.
But I think we're still getting Cody Roman. I think they're just building more stories within a story. And I think they're tricking Roman. They're catching him off guard. They're going to create all kind of chaos within the bloodline. And I think we're still going to get the end of the story at WrestleMania. I do. Because, like I said, I think it's really interesting that he has not officially said he's going after Seth. And again, it was really telling. While he didn't say anything in that promo to start, Cody, I'm talking about. I think it's really telling that he didn't.
Right.
I felt like it was very purposely done. That he didn't say anything. So they get to prolong it anymore. While you have Bayley, who already declared.
Right.
Because like if you have both winners already declare who they're facing right away,
right,
that makes it more difficult to keep the energy up for 60 plus days.
Yeah.
You got one match already set, but you got the other one, I don't know yet, right? Like maybe we'll try I think you said at the beginning, just kind of trying to, I guess, test the waters, right? You're getting ready to go swimming. You want to see if it's hot or cold. You want to test it a little bit. Let's see how the WWE universe feels. And I know how they know how you feel. Okay, we all do. But I think that's what's going on. I think that's what's going on. Just for my summary of everything, putting everything together from SmackDown to through tonight. That's my personal opinion. What I think's going on.
I hope so. I like that version of events. I think Dark Timeline is that we just drag it out until next year. Okay, what I feel is my actual Dark Timeline is that it's Rock and Roman, and Rock actually wins. And then it becomes a year-long story of Rock and Cody of wrestling has more than one royal family. But I don't want that. I'm just saying that buttons a lot of these things up.
Yeah.
But
I had one friend. I was talking to one friend about it, and I don't know how you feel about this, but he brought up a possibility of Cody going heel.
Okay, I don't think Cody will ever go heel.
I don't think you can, right?
I think that's literally. Well, again, I'm a mom. Like, I just have read so many transcripts because of writing the articles. I think perhaps a insistence on turning heel at some point in AEW could have been a straw that broke the camel's back there. That has just been always my gut feeling. Literally, no one's ever told me that. I don't know anything about that, but it just, the line is always, it's just a personal reason. But then there's also a whole other like catalog in my brain of times of Cody talking very much about how he won't turn heel because it is about the kids. And it's like this whole thing. And I feel like he's even been like an ambassador in the locker room of helping other people see that perspective, because I feel like Charlotte Flair then started really echoing a lot of the same things. And I don't know if that's media training, honey. Maybe I'm just getting worked. But like that, I felt like I've heard Charlotte Flair say similar things about when she was making that transition and being a babyface, of how that feels like you're this sort of important figure for kids, and that the Make-A-Wish work and kind of what that means to have that sort of adoration from the crowd, but from the youngsters in the crowd. So I personally, though, would like to see that the weird kind of like meta dark Superman Cody that popped up for a hot second in AEW. There is somewhere still lurking on the internet right now in this moment. Please go find it and click it, refresh a bunch of times. It doesn't get me any money or anything, but it might get me another feature. But there's still a weird feature that I wrote when there was mass Cody Rhodes hysteria when he left AEW that was about his most iconic looks that he could resurrect coming back to WWE. And they let me do it. It's pretty much like the only feature I have on any website. One of the Lukes that I wish was back with his dark Superman vibe, because there was a way that was like, I think it was a little too meta. I think it maybe was a little weird, but I think Cody would be an amazing heel. We know that he has it in him. I think that his acting skills are actually quite exceptional. There's like this handful of wrestlers that I think are actually very exceptional actors. So he could go either way. But I don't see it happening. That was a long way. That was a long road to get to know. I don't think that'll happen.
Yeah, it's gonna take a little bit more than this to make him go heel. That is something I think we'll get eventually, but it's definitely not coming anytime soon. Like you said, I agree, because he's too over. Like, there is a such thing, folks. There is a such thing as being too over.
I do also think there is a way that it becomes an anti-authority story.
Yeah.
Where it's like they kind of end up capitalizing on this. We used to call it in grad school emotional contagion, where it's like there's kind of like freaking out of files at this time kind of thing, where you weren't as freaked out, but when you start engaging in social media, your friends are upset, they're getting more upset because everyone's upset, and it's this whole thing. But I think to capitalize on the emotional contagion too might be make it, and because The Rock's just been on the board and things, if you almost run a parallel storyline of like Stone Cold and Vince, but it's Rock as Mr. McMahon and Cody as Stone Cold, then you get that fan excitement, and you also sort of get a nice way to rewrite that history. And like, forget about the last time we did this sort of a thing, where you can still capture some of that good feelings or those goodwill without reminding them. Almost like we can just, of course, when you're fighting your boss, the classic story of Cody Rhodes against The Rock. So I don't know. It's an exciting future. I get scared when they want to book things a couple of years out, because I don't think you should bank them. Lord willing, you know what I mean? You got to wake up every day and say, thank you, Jesus, for another day. Is what I have my kids say. Like, you or whoever you pray to, thank someone and bigger than yourself for every time you open your eyes in the morning. And so it makes me nervous, because I'm a nervous Nelly, and I don't want to book a year and a half out, because I was really excited to see Seth Rollins and CM Punk in this WrestleMania main event, and I don't get to see that now. So you can't always know what will happen in the future.
I'm very excited, though. I'm not gonna lie. WWE's had to do a lot of pivoting due to injuries, especially with the Seth Rollins story. So I think that has changed things a little bit as well. But a decent Monday Night Raw tonight. Not a whole lot of advancement with the Cody Rhodes story, but I think it's something that we're gonna have to sit back and relax on, and it's all gonna make sense eventually. But still some good matches tonight. I think that's a big highlight to take from the night. A few good matches with the Fatal 4-Way Tag match. That was great. I actually think Becky and Shayna was a good match as well tonight.
Yeah, it was.
So the Women's Tag Team Championship match was good. So a lot to take away from tonight. And of course, we got it all covered again next Monday. Hopefully some more happens in the story. But definitely before we get out of here, though, each and every Monday night before we get out of here, Amanda has some great positivity and some great advice for all you Monday Night Besties. So we cannot leave this show without giving the floor to the one and only Amanda Savage. Amanda, what do you got for the Monday Night Besties this week?
Oh, Besties, I'm so glad you were here. It's been an emotional week. It's been a hard time, Besties. But I just want all the Besties to know that you are special, you are wonderful, you are loved. And even if you're having a very, very, very difficult time, you have a bestie in us. We are here. We will be back next Monday night, and we just need to see you. We want to see you next Monday night. So whatever you're going through, I just hope that you can remember that we're looking forward to seeing you next week. You're our bestie. We got to come back. We got to chat. We got to talk about everything going on. Okay, take care. Be well. You have a great week. Besties, let us know your thoughts throughout the week.
Yep.
Where can we find you on the interwebs?
Yeah, follow us both. Definitely search for Amanda Savage. Search BodySlam.net. I'm at DC Hendrix everywhere. So follow us. Let us know what you're thinking of the show. Just talk some wrestling with us. We can talk other than wrestling too. We can talk anything. Like she has a family. I have a family. So we can talk anything, right?
Peanut butter and jelly recipes. Let's go. If anyone knows what 5-year-olds want to eat,
that's right.
I need the help, because
but everything we got going each and every Monday night after Raw, we meet right here. This is our weekly meeting. So join us and make sure to support slamchats.com.
Yes, go to Slam
Donate.
Chats.
Donate.
Yay. Donate.
And then, until next time, everybody, we appreciate you. Monday Night
We love
Besties.
you. Bye, bestie. See you next week.